Welcome to the Metabolic MD. Health means everything. We all seek optimal health, but most of us do not know how to achieve it. Dr. Paul Kolodzik has spent a career in the emergency department. Now, he helps his patients avoid ever ending up there. During these podcasts, you'll learn how you can lose weight and prevent and reverse disease through new technology, a modified diet, and the use of some new recently approved FDA medications. This information is not meant to be medical advice. Please seek consultation from your own medical provider. Let's listen in.
Hey, Dr. Paul, welcome back.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Great to be here. Great to be anywhere, as I always like to say.
Okay.
So we're going to have some fun today.
Yes, Terry, at your age, I understand.
Yeah, at my ex, exactly right. If I wake up, it's a great day. We're going to have some fun today because we're going to talk about different sides of the aisle. And we've all heard of MAGA, right? MAGA, M-A-G-A.
Make America Great Again.
But that's not what we're going to talk about.
I don't have a red hat that says that.
No, he doesn't have a red hat. But you should have a kind of a bluish, pinkish, purplish hat that says MAHA, right?
Right. Make America Healthy Again.
All right. So let's talk about that. And this is interesting because this is kind of Robert Kennedy's focus to make America healthy again, even though people will argue all day long about the vaccines and all that stuff.
Right.
That's not what we're going to talk about.
Right.
We're going to talk about eating smart, eating better, and some of the things that are going on already to make America more healthy.
So are you saying when Trump did that speech in front of Congress a week or so ago that you would have been over on the side that's holding up the little signs?
No, I'd have been the guy with a cane.
Okay. They got escorted out.
They got escorted out. I like to get kicked out of places. And you would have been the guys clapping for every little thing that Elon Musk has done, right? So that's where we're coming from, folks.
I think, actually, you probably are not as far on one side, and I'm probably not as far on the other side.
That's right. I'm actually in the middle. I look for common sense, but that's not why we're here today.
MAHA is a common sense thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Make America Healthy. If this had been going on back when I was younger, I probably wouldn't be a diabetic.
Well, the opposite happened when you were younger because we were being, led to the opposite of MAHA, which was basically processed food.
It's good. It tastes great.
It does taste great.
Oh, man, It tastes great.
That's right.
But it's not good for you.
After 20 or 30 years of that, you end up in the emergency department with a heart attack or a stroke or diabetes or peripheral vascular disease.
Check.
Yeah.
You keep going. That's right. That's me.
Yeah.
I have been the poster child for that.
If only you had met me sooner, Terry.
I don't know what that would have. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what MAHA really means. What do you think he's going to try doing from what you know?
Well, I try and simplify it. There's a lot going on with this discussion, but it primarily focuses on decreasing processed food and getting back to a more natural way of eating. So first, we got to define what processed food is.
Please do.
And again, I'm going to simplify it. So when people out there, you're thinking, oh, what's processed food? I hear all this about processed food because apparently 70% or so of the food we eat now is processed food. And if you want to simplify what processed food is, just think of refined grains, which means wheat or other grains that have been refined.
How do I know if something's been refined? If I'm walking down the aisle of the grocery store, there's flour. How do I know if it's refined? Does it say refined flour?
Yeah. A lot of the food labels do say that, but do you want to know a real simple way to do it?
Yeah.
Look at the expiration date.
Huh?
Okay. So the whole reason grains are refined and not whole grains are utilized is because refined grains increase the shelf life of food. So
by how much?
Months.
Months.
Yeah. So that means those packages can stay on the shelves for many months as opposed to a few weeks. And that's one of the main attractions of refined foods. Okay. Of processed foods.
So actually, that may be the key for me. If it's wrapped up tight, does that mean it's refined like bread? How do I know?
Yeah. A lot of time. Yeah. Bread. White bread is refined. That's why it lasts as long as it does.
And wheat bread is less refined?
It's whole grain bread can be less refined.
And that will not last as long as the white bread
Correct.
on my kitchen counter.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, that's really, as we move to more packaged foods, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, this, there was a kind of a confluence of thinking then. The food pyramid came out, influenced by the food processing industry, who said, yeah, let's make carbs, refined grains, the foundation, and then we can refine them and we can get them on the shelves, and it really kind of pushes our business model forward.
That's kind of crazy. So isn't this now that you're telling me this seems like a huge effort to even fix
small
bit of this.
It'll be huge. And, it comes down to I don't want to get too crazy here, but a civil liberties thing. What should people be, what should be regulated? What should people be allowed to eat, even if they want to eat stuff that's bad for them?
Yeah.
It goes back to the stuff in New York City where, there were
big gulps.
The big gulps.
But wasn't that like the Republicans pushing, don't tell me I can't have a big gulp?
Yeah.
And now won't you be telling me not to have a big gulp?
Yeah. Well, fructose, big gulps are, made of fructose corn syrup, basically, which, and we can get all into that, but, fructose is metabolized in the body a different way than just pure cane sugar. And there's increasing evidence that may be responsible for a significant portion of the diabetes that is occurring now.
So let's go back to Kroger's, because this
Right.
gets back to practical application. Yeah. If I'm walking down the aisle at Kroger's, how do I know that this is better than this?
So again, let's not make things too complicated, okay? Look at the list of ingredients, okay? The longer the list of ingredients, the more the problem. Okay? So
right.
If it has 3 or 4 ingredients, chances are that it's less refined.
Does it say refined flour in the back, or does it?
It often does that. But I would look at the length of the list of ingredients, and there's really things that you look for. Let's get to the 3 components of processed foods. It's refined grains, sugar, because it tastes better, and you're going to buy more of it and eat more of it.
Right.
And then inflammatory seed oils. And we've talked about seed oils in the past. So the big one usually is soybean oil. Okay. And this is really, you will like this component of it. And my farming friends out there will not like this, because this is now being pushed back to the issue of the farming community being pushed to really produce a lot of grain and a lot of soybeans for soybean oil, and the whole farm subsidy issue supporting that. So I don't want to get too, but think about this, and I don't want to get farmers mad at me, but the farmers are subsidized to produce grains,
sure,
and soybean. Those are the primary components of processed foods that then go to, that those products go to the food processors to make these processed foods. So I actually have heard the argument that one of the origins of the processed food issue is the fact that we have such great farm subsidies that encourage the production of particularly soybeans, and then corn, wheat as well.
Soybeans no good for you?
Soybean oil is inflammatory. A lot of that goes for soybean oil, and soybean oil is inflammatory. Again, any seed oil, which soybean is a seed oil, safflower oil, corn oil, those are inflammatory. When my mom took the butter off the table and said, "Here, margarine is healthier."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
She was wrong.
Remember the guy with the crown who would pop in? It was like
what
imperial
was it?
imperial margarine.
Imperial margarine. Yeah.
Yeah. That was big back in the 70s.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this in the past, but do you remember the original use of vegetable oils?
You were telling me to grease gears.
It was a lubricant.
Yeah.
It was a lubricant for machinery, and then Procter and Gamble and the other makers of those when oil started bubbling out of the ground in Pennsylvania, you know, in the 1800s, they thought, heck, we better find another use for our product, and decided it could gravitate from being industrial lubricant to food.
Wow. So
Doesn't this all sound terrible?
Well, it does, but it kind of, I mean, we could spend days and days talking about this, but where I want to get to is what you told me coming into the studio today, that Sean Hannity and Robert Kennedy went to Steak and Shake.
Right.
And by the way, I love Steak and Shake fries.
Yeah.
And they used to be cooked in what?
They used to be cooked in soybean oil, inflammatory seed oil.
And that just sounds like that should be healthy.
No, it's not. You know, it's got a high proportion of omega-6s. You know, omega-3s are healthy. Omega-6s are not healthy. And soybean oils and other seed oils have a high proportion of omega-6s.
Omega-6.
It's just different types of oils, you know, good fats, bad fats.
Omega-3 is good.
Omega-3 is good. Salmon, sardines.
Omega-6 is bad.
Yeah, avocados, omega-6 is seed oils, which are bad.
Damn it.
I'm trying to simplify it.
All right.
And we've been told the opposite for 50 years.
But Steak and Shake is converting back to cow fat or cow lard.
Beef tallow. Yeah.
Beef tallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make their fries.
And that's how it was done years ago.
Yeah.
And they were crispier and better.
You made a good point. They taste better.
Oh my God, they taste so much better.
Yeah.
McDonald's fries have gone way downhill.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't eat that many fries.
Trust me.
Remember, I'm not the fries here still have a lot of carbs in them, okay? And sometimes there's some sugar thrown in there to make them sweeter as well.
Yeah, they do. They cause a big spike in blood sugar. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But they used to be crispy and hot, and then they got limp and wiggly. And it's like, I hated
It's
that.
the oil, Terry. It's what they're cooked
It's
in.
the oil, Terry. You should have a shirt that says that.
It's the oil.
All right. So are other restaurants that you've heard moving that way?
No, I mean, I think this is the push. Now, beef tallow is a saturated fat, and
I thought saturated stuff was bad.
Well, that's what has been pushed over the last 50 years, and I'm not going to tell you that there are no issues with saturated fat, but I will tell you I very strongly believe that a saturated fat oil is better than a seed oil.
Saturated fat oil is better than a seed oil.
Yeah, and getting back to the grocery store, you walk around and you look at all the packaged foods, they're going to have seed oils in them. You know, soybean oil, corn oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. So that's, so you want to simplify things, length of the ingredients, and then also, if it has a refined grain, if it has a seed oil in it, and then the other thing to look at, of course, is the amount of sugar in it.
So, bottom line, you're telling me to stick to the produce aisle.
That's, the periphery.
Never leave it.
Yeah, you've heard that. The periphery of the store.
Which is the vegetables, the milk, the steak,
dairy.
the beef.
Yeah.
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 That's right. That's how Kroger's is lined up.
Skip by the bakery area.
I like
if you think of the Kroger layouts around here.
Okay, so let me ask you, you may not know this, but is that bread that they're baking at Kroger's that's kind of like fresh, kind of French bread, is that refined, or is that, you think that's...
Yeah, no, a lot of that is refined grains.
Even though it's kind of only
because they get the flour in and they can keep the flour for a long period of time. And,
okay, it's not the bread, it's the flour.
Yeah.
It's the ingredient.
Yeah,
okay.
it's the ingredients, yeah. So one of the other point you want to, so let's go back to the Sean Hannity RFK thing. So they're sitting in a Steak and Shake and they're talking about, MAHA. So yeah, beef tallow is better than seed oils, but I'm not necessarily going to advocate that everything at Steak and Shake is healthy for you.
So now I'm going to poke fun a little bit at my red hat friends. Donald Trump, come on, his diet is that of a 5-year-old. How does this guy lasting? There's something unique in that gene pool.
I don't know how to answer that.
Did you see that picture where RFK is eating a Big Mac or something like that because they all had him on a plane and he looks like he's in pain?
Yeah. No. I did not see that.
I'll have to pull it up and show it to you.
Yeah.
So, okay, for the folks listening out there, this is a harder job to do than you think it is because every aisle is going to have everything you just complained about. And there's no way to avoid it unless you go to Whole Foods or some health food store, correct?
No, you can go around Kroger, okay, and find basically healthy things. But basically It means that you got to cook meals, on your own rather than buying, packaged frozen meals.
Wouldn't that be fun to do? We do videos for the website. Wouldn't it be funny for me to go with you to Kroger's
There you go.
and film you going down the aisle and picking stuff up and go, okay, nope, this sucks. This is better.
I'm going to be getting steaks and chicken and fish and cheese.
Yeah, but not
and,
everybody's
and whole
unhuman like you.
milk.
Most people are human, and they're going to go down the aisle and they're going to pick up the Oreos and they're going to pick up the Fig Newtons
Yeah,
and
you can't. Yeah,
and the
I mean,
pasta.
I have my weaknesses too, and
What is it?
when I need something sugary, it's a dark chocolate.
A dark chocolate.
A 65, 70% dark chocolate.
They even said dark chocolate's good for diabetics. I've heard that recently, which is what
Yeah.
I don't like dark chocolate, but
Yeah.
I guess I'd eat it.
One other point I wanted to make regarding the MAHA movement is there is also this focus on other ingredients. Red dye number 2 and what's called emulsifiers, which change the texture of food. So, it's nice and soft, for example, with some of the, packaged cookies, etc. And I think that's important, the red dye and the emulsifiers and the other adding ingredients. But I think if you focus on avoiding refined sugars, avoiding refined grains, avoiding sugars, and avoiding seed oils, you're 90% of the way there. So don't complicate it, limited ingredients and avoid those 3 ingredients. And you can likely eat very healthy. And then if you're out at eating fast foods, you just got to avoid the foods that are fried in seed oil. So think about it. Popeyes.
Love it.
Yeah, I figured you would. But the majority of the calories come from the breading, which is so thick. That's why it's so
It's
good.
crunchy. It's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then they're cooked in seed oils. So basically, there with a fried fast food, you're getting refined grains and seed oils. So
So if they were to cook that in beef tallow, it would be better, but not perfect.
It would be better, but not. But breading is a problem. So go to Chick-fil-A and get the grilled portion, get the grilled chicken,
that's a good one.
Then take off the bun. So.
Take off the. You'd be no fun on a date. Let me tell you right now. If you ever get back in that dating pool, I feel sorry for the lady who goes out to dinner with you. Sorry, you can't have that. You can't have this.
So are you telling me my wife of 42 years is a saint?
She is a saint, by the way.
She actually probably eats more healthy than I do.
What?
Yeah.
Now your sister's a nut. I mean, she's a healthy
my sister's
nut.
a nut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Andy.
Sorry, Andy. We apologize.
So your wife's more serious about this than you are.
She's just, when growing up in her home, it was homemade meals, and there were 5 kids, and her mom worked, and she was as the oldest, the oldest female sister of the 4 sisters. She made a lot of the meals, and she just has always made homemade meals and doesn't eat out a lot, and so
Well.
She's very healthy.
So
and then here in her 60s now, she's become a workout madman. She's like working with a trainer 3 times a week. It's
Really?
like she's probably benching and squatting more than I am. She's putting me to shame.
You guys are like.
She's not a big
superhuman.
woman either.
Well, as I leave for a cruise on Monday, I'll keep you in mind the whole time I'm there. Let me give you a suggestion we need to pass along to RFK if you know him, and I'm sure you do.
Okay.
All right. So let's just do this. Let's come up with a numbering system, 1 to 10. Every product in the world is going to have a number. 1's going to be extremely healthy. 10's going to be you suck.
Yeah.
And just put that red little label on every package, and it tells you right there. You say, "Oh, that's probably worse than I thought."
So that is great, but that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Why not? I just solved the problem.
Okay. All right. So you go ahead and give Donald or Elon a call or whatever and do that. But again, it doesn't have to be complicated. Avoid long list of ingredients. Avoid those 3 ingredients we discussed. And again, you're going to be 90% of the way there.
All right. Well, we're going to leave this podcast at this point in time. We could have a conversation about this whole thing forever, and we'll probably come back in another date and talk more about this stuff.
All right.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for
you forgot to plug everything.
Oh, shit. All right.
Can you say that on air?
We can say anything we want. By the way, we're almost up to 50,000 downloads. We're knocking on the door of 50,000 downloads. So that means people are either desperate for entertainment or you downloading
you call this
50,000
entertainment?
Huh?
You call this entertainment?
Minimal times, yeah. So go ahead and plug your book,
Okay.
and then we'll plug the websites because we should have done that at the start.
Right. So to help guide this non-processed food diet, the best-selling book on Amazon is the CGM Revolution for non-diabetics. Of course, this is my emphasis on continuous glucose monitors, but you don't absolutely have to have a CGM to follow the recommendations we talked here. But I think a CGM, at least on a trial period, can be very helpful. And you can get that no matter what state you live in. Now that these are over the counter, you can get a continuous glucose monitor, which we emphasize for use in non-diabetics and pre-diabetics. So we aren't talking about the traditional use in diabetics. We're talking about people that just want to know what's going on with their blood sugar 24/7. So that is cgm-doctor, doctor.com. And then for my medical practice, Terry.
Yes, please continue.
No, go ahead. You.
Oh, the Metabolic MD?
Yes.
If you're interested, if you live in Arizona, Florida, Ohio, or Indiana, Dr. Paul is able to accept you as a patient and deal with you one-on-one basis on helping you get better health and get access to some GLP-1s and things like that, correct?
Yeah, we do that. But again, what we focus on mainly is helping people with metabolic syndrome. That's generally middle-aged, overweight people. We help them both lose weight without medicines or sometimes with limited doses of the medicine, but also reverse medical problems that are raising their ugly head, like pre-diabetes, get diabetics off medications at times.
Listen to me, get off medications if you can.
With weight loss and improved metabolic health, of course, comes a lot of other health benefits.
Did you plug the book?
I did plug the. Oh, did I? Yeah, I did plug the book.
Right.
I didn't say.
I'm sorry,
where
I fell asleep during that part.
It's on Amazon. Just look me up on Amazon.
Best-selling book on CGMs on Amazon.
They're flying off the shelves.
They're flying off the shelves. All right, folks, this has been it. The Metabolic MD with Dr. Paul Kolodzik and CGM Doctor with Dr. Paul Kolodzik. I'm Terry O'Brien, your producer. We'll see you guys all real soon.